March 17th 2020. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Good evening from Europe. Mid-market update when it comes to the New York session. Huge developments, well, especially when it comes to the dollar. With all those repos, injections, rate cuts, right? Dollar still strong, and for example, we are below 110 when it comes to euro dollar. We are below 0.6 when it comes to the Australian dollar. So the king is one when it comes to the currencies, and it's the American dollar. That's how it looks, at least for now. When it comes to the stocks, we've been trading lower, we've been trading higher, but well, it looks like some short squeeze might be possible. I'm not talking about, you know, some kind of the huge rallies, but that's what we are going to discuss as well. So briefly, what is going on? Don't forget, guys, that you can monitor my real trades. The link you can find in the description. Don't forget that I'm doing all the strategies at one account, so sometimes it might looks for you some kind of the you might not understand everything. Anyway, I'm still holding short euro dollar. I've been trading today. From the intraday perspective, I also hold the euro dollar from the medium term perspective. So I still got the tiny short euro dollar. What's the next target? Looks like if we are going to get the break and close on a daily chart below 110, so that's the psychological level, and we might see a continuation to the downside. What kind of the continuation to the downside? I would make this type of the measure, guys, for ya, meaning that, well, more or less the over-under from the daily chart might be in play, and we are talking about the levels, well, below 109. But this time, if the dollar will continue to go higher, right? If the dollar will continue to go higher, I think that finally we are going to make the breakdown even lower. So what I expect here from the daily chart, eventually, yeah, we might see some kind of the bounce based on the over-under, right? So we might see some kind of the bounce from the levels below 109, all right? But no higher than the previous supply, right? Because we are going back right here, right now, below the latest weakness, and we were discussing this stuff for quite some time. So selling rallies when it comes to the euro dollar for now, medium term, that's how I see the things here. Short term, let's switch to the hourly chart. If that was the consolidation, right, that's what we discussed. So we are about to double that consolidation to the downside. So we are very close to some kind of the bounce. What kind of the bounce can we expect? Well, that would be good to check what is going on during the Tokyo session, because, you know, either we are going to get those moves were equal more or less. So if we are going to get this type, so probably somewhere towards 110.90 still possible. Don't think so we are going to get back that high, but that's what I'm looking for. I cannot rule it out, this type of the price action, so even 111.80 at some point. Overall, as long as we are below this consolidation, some further move to the downside, short term, I would expect as well. So I'm going to monitor where we are from the daily chart perspective at the end of the day, right? And I'm going to look for selling opportunity. One of the reason we have such a strong dollar is very weak versus euro is very weak. ZEF economic sentiment, it was extremely low reading. and the data out of the US wasn't great, but it wasn't shocked yet. Even industrial production was better than what market was expecting. So that's how the things looks like when it comes to the euro dollar. Still selling rallies is the name of the game, right? You may think that the euro is very weak. Well, there are a few even weaker things. That's Australian dollar, and well, I've been trying to find any kind of the possible way those guys may to try to stop, where they may to try to stop, and to be honest with you, I have no idea. Aussie dollar in a free fall. I built I have a bit of exposure when it comes to Aussie versus Kiwi, right? Doesn't look good for me right now, so I might be forced to close, but it's still above parity, so well, we will see. But here, that's the monthly chart, and as you can see, that's the huge monthly zone. All right, I'm going to take the background off. Okay, so it's gonna be a little bit easier for us to monitor where we currently are, right? All right, so we are testing, if we are going to get back to the monthly chart, we are testing very, very important level when it comes to this weakness, right? But it's been tested twice already. Is it going to hold? Well, some kind of the bounce. Well, it's possible. How big the bounce could be? In case we are going to get some kind of the short squeeze when it comes to indices, I wouldn't be surprised to see the 50% of what we already seen on the monthly chart, right? So this type of the bounce, but well, you know, I'm not gonna take the exposure via US dollar because it's the strongest, so I do have via Kiwi. I might decide via euro, for example, at some point, but I need some kind of the positive sentiment to try to do this stuff. From the daily chart perspective, totally free fall, right? No mercy here, and you know, this is you don't want to catch falling knife here, right? So again, it's very strong, so I do expect some attempt to hold around 60 towards the weekend. All right, so I wouldn't be surprised to have some kind of the maybe profit taking closer to the Thursday, Friday. Well, that could be something, but again, not here. Eventually, if not Aussie Kiwi, then you can try to watch as your homework Aussie Canadian dollar, for example, right? Or if the sentiment will turn a bit, then euro or pound could be good as well. When it comes to the pound, it's also in a free fall, all right? We took out some important levels, but we're trying to hold over, under, and stay above 120, at least for now, right? So over, under, and we are fighting. Of course, we have yesterday low, we have previous week turn around over here to what we've seen to the left. All of those towards 123 and then 24.20, plenty of supply, right? If we are going to get the lower shadow, okay, if we are going to get the lower shadow, and for example, if the sentiment will turn a bit, right? Well, we have Swiss National Bank rate decision. We have pound Swissy around 116. So maybe not versus dollar, but maybe pound Swiss franc could be the name of the game. But do your own research, because once we are going to get the risk of again, of course, Swiss franc and Japanese yen, they're gonna be the key currencies. So in that case, from the pound perspective, again versus dollar, you don't wanna catch the falling knife, right? But depends on what is going on in the market. You may, if you like the pound overall, You may try to navigate with positive sentiment pound Swiss franc or pound yen if we are going to get back above 130. Or if the sentiment will turn off, then versus some commodities, that could be the name of the game. Otherwise, you wanna stay short pound, especially versus dollar, because it could be ugly with the weekly close below 120. We will see. We'll see. So that's how it looks when it comes to the FX market. Dollar is strong. Everything else very weak. Then you have to, you know, navigate between different crosses when you want to check what is going on. So finally, let's have a look what we have on the indices. I've been trying to trade a bit to the long side, reopen it before our meeting. I like what is going on, a little bit of the turnaround. Here we have the first 5-minute trading range. So what's happened, what you see here, my measures. So what I did, it was this type of the move to the downside. Once we move above daily cash open, right, and we started to move down, I made the measure of the first initial move to the downside. It was this type of the move, so that's why I renew. And again, I'm not telling you that, well, that's what I've been trading, but because you can monitor what I'm doing, right? So I'm a little bit long towards the end of the day. There are some you know, rumors about the Chinese restriction when it comes to the US media. Well, we will see how it's going to play out. For now, if the bears cannot close lower, we might see some kind of the short squeeze. But let's switch to the higher time frame. Let's make it clear, because I don't think we are going to make any kind of the turnaround, and we cannot talk about any kind of the turnaround as long as we are below these levels, and that's what we already discussed. So just playing this low. So we will see. Guys, it was my pleasure to make the update for you. Don't be trapped. Lower your exposure. Volatility is still high, and probably it will stay here for a while. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the evening. Take care and goodbye.